What up, YouTube? It's Matt here. Pancakes in the background.
No.
Team HOC. Here to bring you, as requested by 1, 2, or 3, maybe 4 people. I don't know. I've lost count. Maybe less. Peeps who want to know my build that I was running on Saturday. That you've probably seen the video. If you haven't seen the video, well then you don't have no idea what I'm talking about. Videos on my channel. I'll put a link maybe at the bottom. Probably not, but maybe. It's a permission build. The reason it's called permission is essentially it runs cards to say yes or no to what you do. I may allow you to do something. I may not allow you to do something. I'm going to try not to allow you to do something if I get a decent draw. As you can see in my match, there were a few misplays. Still learning the deck. There were some misplays on my opponent's side that I didn't even see. For example, summoning of a Sirocco and a setting of a Vayu. I didn't even see that. I don't even remember that happening. I don't know how that happened. But it is what it is. I'll have probably another couple of matches as I tweak it as we come into the new format. With a deck like this, it's kind of nice because it's a slower deck. Obviously, it's a heavy control deck. It works best in a slow format. Obviously, right now the format's a little faster. You've got the brokenness of sabers. You've got the spamming of infinities. It definitely keeps up with frogs, like in terms of the Monarch build. It has a little bit of a harder time. I haven't had a chance to test this against the OTK, but let's face it, we all know the OTK is going to be dead after the ban list, or at least crippled enough that no one's going to want to run it. No one's smart, at least, on a competitive level. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have suggestions, feel free to post them. I mean, I take suggestions.
That's not all you take.
Giggity. Yeah, I have had some other requests for other deck profiles. For example, for Brian's Salvo Dad build, I will post one as soon as I see Brian. Today is officially now Monday, the 16th. I won't see Brian probably till Saturday, so the video will be done then, most likely, and then be posted, you know, sometime that day, so Saturday-ish, Sunday-ish. Don't mind me as I flip this cold wave around. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. The build is 40 cards. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna start off with essentially the heart and soul of the deck. 3 Bountiful Artemis. Essentially, once a counter trap is activated and has finished resolving, you draw 1 card. Doesn't matter who activates the counter trap. Your opponent could activate it, or you could activate it. The guy sitting next to you maybe could activate it. I don't know.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Fuck that dude. So yeah, 16 attack, 17 defense. Of course, weaker than pretty much most standard monsters. It's still hittable to bottomless, unfortunately, which is one of the downsides. But yeah, I run a lot of negation, so protecting him sometimes is usually pretty easy. After talking with Brian, we came to the conclusion that if you're able to summon and resolve Artemis on a consistent basis, you win, because you just draw the busted brokes. You draw what you need to get out of a situation. So yeah, so 3 Artemis. That is really the only, like, keep in mind, this isn't counter fairies. Other than Honest, which I'll show you here in a minute, there are no other fairies in the main board. I have a couple on the sideboard. Right now I have like a couple banishers just for the hell of it, because I slapped it together real quick. So, but yeah, so keep in mind, this isn't counter fairies. Like, you're not going to see a Vandagalion or whatever his name is. You're not going to see any of these dudes in the build or anything like that. So, yeah, fuck that dude. Yeah. So anyways, moving along. Next we've got 3 Thunder King Rios. Thunder King has essentially become what I would say a staple in almost every deck. I mean, even Gadget's Machina are running him now. You know, in 1, 2, maybe even 3 copies if they're crazy. I run 3. It stops, you know, Sangan. It stops Dark Soul. Yeah, synchros, fusions. Like if they pop out a Gizzarus, get rid of.
Johnny, you mad?
Johnny, you mad? Maybe. I don't know if he watches our videos or not.
I guess we'll see.
I had a pretty decent record on Saturday. I had a 4-1 record with the deck on Saturday. I lost to Black Wings in the first round, as we call AKA Must Be Nice. Like I said, you can see my video on my channel. Afterwards I played a random deck. I played a couple of random decks. I'm not sure exactly what they were running. It was like mostly beatdown, but yeah, I was just able to counter through it. I played Black Wings after that, beat him, and then last round I played against our friend Johnny and his GB deck. I 2-0'd him. I was just able to stay ahead of the GBs, which was fun. Next we got 2 Honest. The deck is heavy on lights, and Honest helps you protect your bountiful's. So Honest is in there, and he's got good defense if you need to stall out. You know, so from there, we go to the draw portion, or the secondary draw portion of the deck. Des Lakota. Essentially, when you have him face down, you flip summon him, you draw 1 card. During your main phase, you can flip him into face down defense position. Run 2. 3 is overkill. 1 isn't enough. And it's actually pretty good. Like, I didn't like him at first, but after tweaking the deck, after playtesting, I playtested with it for about 6 hours. One Friday night with Brian, we decided that it was still good enough to stay with the alterations that I made to help protect him better. So yeah, we got those 2. As you see with most anti-meta builds, you see Morphing Jar. I run a lot of you know, back row, so setting I can typically start a first turn setting 5 back row and a Morphing Jar. I mean, that's just how ridiculous it can get. So it's actually, yeah, it's actually pretty good. It's not bad. The next card is something I've been toying with. I saw a build, an OCG build that ran Jaugen. Actually, matter of fact, it ran 2 if I remember correctly. He won a tournament with it. It was actually pretty cool looking. This is where I got kind of the idea from, because a lot of the cards in there are actually what he was running. Jaugen essentially says no to special summoning, no to the Fader, no to Gores, Tragodia, even Dad. You know, synchroing. You know, they have to think about you know, trying to get rid of him, book him, or something like that. I can also pitch a random card, get a random card from my hand discarded to destroy all special summon all monsters on the field that have been special summoned. So yeah, he's pretty good. He's only got 200 attack, 1300 defense, so he is pretty weak. Honest helps protect him as well. So the next 2 are removal. I don't have a whole lot of removal in the main deck that isn't a counter trap. So I run DD Warrior Lady, gets rid of things like Sangan, Treeborn if I need to, Spirit Reaper, you know, things like that. Yeah, Dark Soul Armor Blade, all that good stuff. The Snowman Eater was his tech choice in the build I pulled from the OCG. I actually really like it, even though it's got no attack. It's got 19 defense. When it flips face up, it destroys a monster. So it's really good in the GB matchup, Blackwing matchup, things like that. So yeah, I really like the card. The only 2 spells that run the deck, Pod Duality. Yes, I understand from my video, I did play a Duality while I had a Thunder King out. My bad. I think of Duality as a draw card, and so I had it in my head as a draw card. Yeah, so 2. 2's all I have, and I think 2's just perfect. Now we come to the trap portion of the deck. It's actually quite heavy. I'm hitting almost 10 minutes, so I'm going to try and make this pretty quick. Next is the first trap, counter trap, is Drastic Drop Off. Anytime a card is added to your opponent's hand by drawing, monster effect, things like that, you flip it, they discard it. It's a counter trap, so it works with Artemis. I get to draw a card, you get to lose a card. It's actually really good in a very slow format. So I think once the format changes and the new ban list hits, I think the build is actually gonna be really good, especially if it's a really slow format based on the ban list. We gotta stop monster effects. So we have 3 Divine Wrath. Get rid of monsters and their shitty effects that are going to wreck me. I gotta get things off the field. Force back, yay, I get to draw. You lose a monster, goes back to your hand. I do have a side deck idea now where I'm going to probably in most occasions maybe side either these out or one of my other counter traps and throw in like Black Horn of Heaven because it's actually a really good card for the deck. To save the back rows, we have, first up we have 3 Dark Bribe and 2 Magic Drain. I like, of course, Dark Bribe over Magic Drain. That's why I'm only running 2 Magic Drain, because if your opponent pitches a spell card, then Magic Drain goes bye-bye. Magic Drain is good in a good portion of the situation, especially when you're down at top decking. A lot of decks don't run too many spells. They're not very spell heavy, and a lot of spells are maybe spells they don't want to pitch. So yeah, it's actually pretty good. I'll give you a card and I'll stop a Heavy Storm, or I'll stop a Brain Control, you know, Mind Control, things like that. Big power plays. The last 2 counter traps, we got Moses and his fine bitches, and then Jesus and his even finer bitches. So yeah, Solemn, of course, is staple, I think, in the build. Solemn Warning is really good. As a matter of fact, I side a second. So yeah, it's pay 2,000 negate a summon, or you can negate spell trap or monster effect that special summons monster. His original build had 3 Threatening Roars. I took them out. I put in 2D Prison. I have a hard time getting over big monsters, things like Gores, Stardust, Goyo, things like that. So these are there to protect my monster, especially like Des Lakota, Scrap Iron Scarecrow. If I can protect him, you're not going to hit me. I've had many games playtesting in which I ended up with way more life points than I think I should have because of this card. You just flip it, reset it. It's good. Heavy Storm, Icarus, JD, Gizaris, Mirror Force, Torrential. Starlight Rose says what's up. I run 2. I did have a situation in which I wasn't aware that you couldn't Torrential or Bottomless a Starlight Roaded monster, special summon of a Starlight Dragon. I wasn't aware of that. Now I am, so, you know, knowing's half the battle. You can throw in your random G.I. Joe reference from there. Next, we've got monster removal. We've got Torrential, Mirror Force, Staples, blow shit up, essentially. The last card of the deck is something that I'm not sure if I'm going to keep. The build that I got the idea from had this main decked. I can see why. I can in phase call the Haunted, a Des Lakota if I need to draw more cards, or a for Artemis if it gets destroyed, or even an Honest. So this is pretty good. I don't do a whole lot of special summoning. Actually, I don't do any special summoning. So Jowgen, it doesn't really interfere with Jowgen at all. And if I need to, it's a pitchable card for like Divine Wrath. So that's the build. Extra deck is pretty standard. I've got a couple of extra Stardust Dragons in there because of Starlight Road. My side deck was pretty crappy. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but you can kind of giggity. I did have the sided 3 T-Roars, Smashings, Breaker, Grave Squirmer. I was testing him because I saw it in his side deck and I thought it was a pretty decent idea. If he dies as a result of battle, goes to the graveyard, you destroy 1 card in the field, which you can get rid of things like Royal Decree. Royal Decree is a big problem for the deck. That's why I have the Breaker in there. We got some, you know, Graveyard Hate, the extra Solemn Warning, pulling the rugs for the Gadget Monarchs, Gemini Imps, which I'm testing for the X-Saber matchup, an extra Jowgen, and because it's a counter build, I decided to run Swallow Flip versus Miravos. I didn't get a really chance to use it because I only played 1 GB build, and they both got blown up by a Heavy Storm. So anyways, that's the build. I'll try and put a deck list at some point under the video, but really, I went through it pretty well, so it should be fairly easy. It's really just multiples of cards. I mean, I don't really run a whole lot of ones except for the Mirror Force, Torrential, the Call, the Solemn Warning. Everything else has a double. Oh, and the Solemn Judgment itself. So that's pretty much it. Comment, rate, subscribe. Check our contest result video. It'll be up soon. That's pretty much it. Peace.